be criticized. It's like the recording dropped in and out, but I think hopefully you're all still there. We're never going to be criticizing our competitors. The trick is to just show where we are strong against areas where they may be weaker or they may be focused elsewhere. Then looking at your business and looking at your brand and asking yourself the question, what is unique and special about my brand or my business? And that's really from your own perspective and also from your customer's perspective. What makes you or can make you special? And how can, like I said before, how do your competitor weaknesses become your strengths? Once you've determined that, it's time to start crafting what I would call a positioning statement. So the preparation for crafting that is succinctly answer yourself as you've gone through this process. Who are your target customers? What is your product or service category? The greatest benefit of using your products or services? And what will be the proof of this benefit, i.e. what will the customer gain by using your tourism experience? Note all that down. And then it's time really to start crafting a compelling statement, which is 1 or 2 sentences, maybe 3, not too many, that communicates your brand's unique value to your customers in relation to its main competitors. And there's some excellent examples out there, and I'll touch on a couple that I came across as I was preparing this presentation in a moment. Once you've done that positioning statement, it's about adding the key benefits of choosing your product. I understand that many people in the market, and I'm definitely one of those people, will respond to numbers. So I've often, and anyone that's worked with me will know this, I've often used, the top 5 or the top 3 selling points of my business or the destination, 5 great reasons to select. And I've used that in my marketing material. And I tend to flow that below the positioning statement. It's then a tagline, and a tagline is, a tagline is important. It's often what a lot of the marketers focus on. There's a lot of people ask me about, but often that comes last, and it does take a while to craft. Generally, it's only 5 or 6 words, but that has to stand alone without exception. It has to highlight your USPs, and it's often good if that's an action verb, so a do or be. I mean, think about Nike. One of the longest standing taglines in marketing history is just do it. There couldn't be much more of an action verb than that, but it's worked well and really stood the test of time. And that time is an important factor. Is when you're going through this exercise, think about longevity. Avoid statements that may be a little bit more in the now that maybe may not work into the future, because you really don't want to be doing your brand positioning too often or changing your content too often, because you're all busy people with busy businesses. So just to talk over a few examples, and I'll ask you guys in a moment for your feedback, but these are some examples that I thought that were quite good and they were relevant as they were in the tourism industry. So you may know these businesses. One of these businesses I know really well. Well, one's my own. I'll get to that in a moment, but the Taylor, I know that very well. It's a business that has a strong reputation in tourism across Australia and probably across the world. And what I like about them, and this presentation, by the way, will be sent out by Stella afterwards, and there are some links built into the PDF, so you'll be able to click on these websites and go straight in. The Taylor has worked very hard to just clearly articulate what it's all about, who the customers it wants, and it's got a very defined, set of services, and it really understands the market that it's going for. So the Taylors obviously have their logo at the top. They're Australian handcrafted journeys. That's their tagline. So it clearly says what they're all about. And the positioning statement, now these positioning statements may look a little bit more detailed than they actually are because of how I've condensed them on my screen here. But the positioning statement is pretty simple. The Taylor is built on 2 core values: excellence and authenticity. We create magical experiences that make use of intimacy, exclusivity, and even a touch of daring. The Taylor can take you to the less known destinations to encounter the least expected. We also know how and where you gain the freshest, most fabulous perspectives on famous landmarks. I think that's a really beautiful positioning statement. It says what they do, but if you look on their website, what they back up beyond that is they've got, okay, those benefits to the consumer of using them. Okay, what do they get by using the tailor? They get a dedicated travel designer. They get unhindered destinations that aren't restricted by formality, and they really tailored experiences as in their name. So it all links back to their name, and it all links back to their positioning statement. So that was one that I liked. Another one that I think do it really well, and many of you will know these guys, is the Baileys, James and Hayley Bailey, who run Bailey Lodges. They've got some of their websites, and I'll touch on one of theirs later, are some of my favorite because they're simple and they're bold, and they're very defined in what they do. So Bailey Lodges has its logo. Its tagline is so simple, just luxury redefined. That's their company tagline. Bailey Lodges is a dynamic portfolio of luxury lodges in extraordinary destinations created by the partnership of James and Hayley Bailey, combining world-class local dining, design that welcomes the outside in, interiors that reflect the environment and its community, as well as genuine first-name service. The collection is renowned for setting benchmarks in premium experiential travel. That really clearly says what they're all about, and I don't mind that a business, and many of you are small businesses, I'm a small business, I'm a sole trader. It's good sometimes to use the personalities and the characters behind the business in your positioning. It says a bit about who you are and their USP or their benefits to the consumer. Their resorts give a sense of place. Their resorts have ecological sustainability, and they provide connection and community. So have a look at their website, and they've got some really good sites across their different properties as well. So outside of tourism, I just wanted to share, because I'm talking you through the journey that I went through. Hopefully it's useful. And I went through this journey to arrive on my brand positioning and my tagline. Okay. My tagline as a business for Away with Words businesses is content and expertise to maximize your impact. I use that on my business cards. I use that at the lead in on my website under the logo. My positioning statement is the words, messages, and approach you select are vital. They convey the essence of your personality, capabilities, and goals whilst resonating with your audience. Away with Words Business Services will maximize the impact of your organization or initiative by providing high quality content, communications, and expertise. We help you plan and deliver for success. And if you go on my website later, and obviously don't need to do that now, but I've clearly put under that positioning statement, what are the benefits of using my business? Number one, it's about you first and foremost as a customer. Number two, I'm highly experienced and networked. And number three, relevant in this day and age, is I'll save you time and money. So that just a few examples of how I went through the process to develop taglines and positioning statements, and how some of your peers in the tourism industry have done that. So Stella, I'm not sure how I manage this. Hopefully you can help, but does anybody have any questions? Has anyone got anything that they would like to share in terms of insights on their own brand positioning and the story that they follow? It'd be great if we got any volunteers. If not, don't worry about it too much. There'll be other opportunities.
Hi, Martin. I'm happy to share.
Yeah. Who's talking?
Monique.
Monique.
Hi.
Hi, Monique.
I'm Monique from Sage at Streaky Bay. We offer a luxury hosted accommodation experience on the Eyre Peninsula. Sorry, I've got my headphones on, it's echoing. And our motto is pack less, live more. So we use that slogan on a lot of our advertising, because our example is we were a young family who used to live in Adelaide, who travelled to Streaky Bay for holidays, and we knew how much we had to pack. So that's part of our story and our journey as well, about us. So yeah, we've taken that into our motto, so that we've put more into the house so that it takes the stress out of families having to pack so much. And we also incorporate experiences within our our product as well. So that's part of the motto as well.
Love it. Thanks, Monique. Like I say, it is clear and it links back to also the people behind the business. What a great concept. Anyone else? Okay. On the basis, we'll keep moving and into the next sort of section. Okay. I will throw it out there that I'm not a technological genius. I'm not a web developer, any of those things. I've often drawn on people who are experts in those areas to help me along the way. But so what I'm talking about now is literally a little bit more about the content that you put out there. So part 2 is an effective website for your business. I see some absolutely outstanding websites in tourism, and there's some good examples across your own businesses because I've jumped on and had a look at a few. I also see some that are really a bit of a shame. They've got an excellent product, they're great people, they have an in-depth knowledge, but they just don't really pull it off on their website. And your website is essentially, it's your resume. It's the landing page for people to go back to and think about your business. So if you haven't put time into articulating the website the way that you would articulate yourself face-to-face or in a presentation, it's probably something you need to do straight away. In terms of a site design, I've just put a few tips in terms of putting a site together, or if you're even reviewing your own site. One is a very simple homepage. There are some really great homepages out there, but there are also some really cluttered ones. So this is your initial representation of your brand and its offering. Use keywords, sentences, and images. And it's your chance to appeal to people's emotions rather than to bamboozle them with a word count. So simple is better. I like scrolling websites. Some of you may be different. You know, some people have panels that go across, but scrolling is really easy for the reader. It keeps key info above the fold. So you make sure you hit them with your tagline and your positioning statement straight up, and space out your content. Another thing that I've noticed is some websites do this really well. Others just really trying to jam things too close together. So if you have lots of blocks of text, very little white space, it can confuse the reader. Don't be afraid of white space. Obviously, beautiful imagery. I mean, we're so lucky that we work in tourism and there is so much rich media, so much great imagery out there. And you'll see some of this from your own businesses on my screen. Have a call to action. I think that's a pretty much given now. And I don't see many websites out there that don't have the book now button at the top of the screen or somewhere that's prominent. If your readers have to search where to book beyond the homepage, then it's probably a bit of an issue, and it probably you won't be seeing as much business as you should. The other element is a destination connection. I was talking about this with a colleague yesterday in the hotel industry, and just how important it is that we've got to appreciate, we're talking to tourism consumers, they are generally using our product because they have an interest in the destination around us. It may be exceptions, but that's generally the case. So we got to make sure that our homepage and our websites talks to the destination that we're in, or talks to the destinations that we specialize about. Second tip is ease of navigation. You know, obviously link your logo to the homepage across the site. So anyone who wants to keep back to your homepage just clicks on your logo. Have a prominent, simple menu, which you can consolidate and order by importance. When I was developing my own website, I think I came up with 10 or so sections to start with. I thought, wow, that's just way too many. And that's, you know, too many opportunities for my readers to lose interest in the site. So I consolidated that down to 5 categories. Have a powerful footer. Often the footer is the last thing that people see, but it is useful to have the footer, and it should, you know, be there at the bottom of every page, and it's the fallback to your menu. So if someone's not at the top on your burger menu or whatever it is, choosing your different pages, they can fall back to that down the bottom, which is where you'll also have your links to your social media, amongst other places probably. I put an example of the site on the screen. I think these people were registered. I'm not sure. I can't see all the names who are here, but Seppelfield Road Distillers do this very well. I like their website. You know, it's got a clear book now, a very distinct set of categories or sections, and a really, you know, bold image on the front. Third tip is about customer advocacy. Testimonials are fantastic. We all collect them. You all good businesses, so people say wonderful things about your business. Let's show that our readers these wonderful things. So if you don't already, I'd always recommend having a testimonial section on your website. Now, whether that is direct testimonials that people have provided you with, they may have images or a quote, or it may link into some of these online review sites like TripAdvisor, Facebook, or Google. Have imagery and or video about your customers. That's great. If you've been out on a tour, for example, and your customers have shared something about your experience or their experience, sorry, put that on there. People love to see that. Show that your customers love you and that you care about their opinion. I think that's really important. I'm telling you things you know, so apologies if this sounds like preaching, but obviously we should have a mobile-friendly website. It's the most common form of consumption. Personally, I very rarely am at my desktop unless I'm writing something or using something. Everything I do is on my mobile. I've no doubt many of you are the same. It's got to be cleaner than your desktop version. Well, a lot of people spend a lot of time on their desktop version, but maybe don't look at the mobile version as much as they should. Put yourselves in the shoes of the user and test every single page and every single action. The other thing is storytelling. And storytelling is, I think, becoming more and more important as we're in an age of high. I said before, people love to hear from others. So this is your chance to be creative and highlight the personality behind your business. Using video is really good. And I think the team, and I've used an example, there's a link in the presentation to southaustralia.com and their campaign for those who want a little bit more. They do this really well at the SATC, and that's good because we all hope they would, because we're all behind that destination. They tell stories very well. So have a look at that site. I'm sure you have. Use narrative to sell features as well. So your descriptive on your website doesn't always have to be functional. There's a website I came across recently. That's the Carlisle Hotel in Brisbane. I don't know if anyone stayed there. Looks like an amazing hotel, but the way that they use their website is they talk the reader through all of their products and services, not by describing them, but by going through a day in the life of a guest at the hotel. So in the morning, you will do this, then you will go and do this. And it really flows beautifully. And it's got a lovely storytelling element to it. So have a look at that site if you get the opportunity. And then once you've got your design stuff, it's about being heard and found. So I'll just talk through some of these areas. Keywords is a big one. I spent a lot of time on my website and also when I'm writing content for others, thinking about the keywords that you use. So just take it a step back. You've obviously got your tagline, you've got your brand positioning, you've got the key benefits of using your product. Now you've got to weave in some of the phrases, some of the terms that your customers are going to be typing into Google when they're thinking about your product. All right. Maybe sit with a friend or a relative or a client or something and ask them, what's special about my business? What do you think is good about my business? What is your niche? Think about the topics that you want to be, found across. If you're a hotel, it's accommodation, it's experiences, it's food and beverage, or restaurants, or dining. If you're a tour operator, what are those different things? Think about seed keywords. So the anchor words that or that people are most likely to be searching for on Google when they're thinking about your product. The other thing that people sometimes forget is the long tail keywords. I'm a big fan of long tail keywords because I use them a lot when I'm searching for things myself. Is what is the best tour operator in the Barossa Valley? Or who are the top 3 experience providers on the Eyre Peninsula? You might be surprised by sort of weaving those lines into your content, how often people are searching for them. So just think about, put yourself into the shoes of the person searching on Google, what do you think they're going to be typing in? And then weave that into your content. And that is really just the starting point to optimization. Now, I'm not an SEO specialist. I take the advice of others. And there are some really good people out there. I'd be happy to recommend some sort of offline, but try a specialist in SEO. Make a sustained investment and track this via an analytics. Now, I wasn't, I'm the first to admit I've made mistakes along the way. And one of the hotels I represented previously, I didn't really buy into SEO as much as I should have done. So I was convinced by my director of marketing, come on, Martin, we need to put some dollars into this. We need to put some money into this for a specialist. So for a sustained period, we did. And we were ranking top across the board. And it was really interesting, when COVID hit and we had to trim our expenditure, we thought, okay, we'll just pull back on the SEO investment for a short period. It's amazing how quickly we dropped off the face of the earth. So it is a competitive space. If you have dollars to spend, I would strongly recommend spending it there. There are some quick fixes that you can look at from an SEO perspective. If your site's operating slowly, that's probably going to affect your optimization. So take yourself to your website as a consumer. Is it fast? Is it quick? Is it snappy? If so, good. Is it slow to load? That might be a problem. Link to others and developing partnerships. That's really important. You're basically building trust and building referrals from other areas. Again, mistakes I've made in the past are thinking, oh, why should I take people away from my website to the businesses of others? Well, that was a mistake, because taking them, pointing people back to trusted partners and other products, it builds the motivation in those people to point people back to you. And have some partnerships with people like bloggers. It gives them the motivation to want to write about you and point people back to your website. Also have URL that is clear and obvious for both humans and search engines. I came across this when I was just doing a bit of research. Quite a lot of URLs finish in a complicated number or something like that. That might not necessarily be that good for SEO or for people that are looking at it. Doesn't matter if you've got a long URL. So it could be best restaurants in the McLaren Vale. All of those words could appear in your URL. Yes, it's long, but it's very obvious as to where that's going. Blogs is an interesting one, and it's a typo. One of my first typos, excuse me. It's not a from of content marketing, it's a form of content marketing. That is also often left on the to-do list. And to be honest, I've got a busy sole trader business. I haven't got to my blogs yet, and I should have done. Blogs are a really good opportunity to inspire connections with your business and drive visitation and inquiries back to your website. We're in a period in our history where a lot of us are consuming other people's content. A lot of us are responding to the stories and the challenges that other people have gone through. Blogs are really great opportunities to do that. They also support SEO, all right? It just generates more pages on your business that can be found. A blog will boost your profile, and it's really good for small brands. So I don't know how many of you are very active on LinkedIn. I'm fairly active, not as much as some others, but on LinkedIn, for example, people don't want to hear adverts, particularly on your business too often, but a carefully crafted blog, which touches on a subject which may be pertinent or have emotion for the industry, gets their interest, gets their eyes on your business. This is a good way for them to, okay, so just a couple of clicks away from a blog to your website to visit a little bit more about your business. And lastly, engagement. Obviously, your social media is there to stimulate engagement with your website. So if you've gone through a process and you've used a brand positioning statement or a tagline or your key benefits, use those keywords in the social bios on your Facebook profile or on your LinkedIn profile. So I've come across a lot of businesses that I've worked with. They've got this beautifully crafted website and everything's really clearly articulated, but then their Facebook bio says almost a completely different thing. If you have a Facebook bio that has the same keywords, has the same phrases, it's going to boost your optimization. Manage your inbox from your social media and divert people back to your site. And then through your social media, look at consistent, well-timed posts and lots of sharing of imagery. Again, Like I said, I'm not an SEO expert, but these are 4 sort of pillars that I buy into that I think will set your business in good stead. I might try and cast the net again, if that's all right. So Monique was kindly enough to ask a question previously. I'm really interested to know what has worked for you in terms of your website, in terms of your optimization. And if any of you have got any websites that you've come across that really inspire you. So I'll just kick off while you might be thinking about that. A website that inspired me was Capella Lodge. Have a look at that website if you get a chance. It's one of the Bailey Lodge's properties. I think it's wonderful. It uses very few words. It doesn't overcomplicate it, has big, bold images. It's not afraid of white space. And you can tell that they've really thought about their keywords and content. So that's an example from me. So if I could throw that out there, if anyone has got want to share any insights or have any questions about what's worked for them and maybe some websites that inspire you. No takers? All right. Don't be shy, guys. More than welcome anyone to please speak up. But so I've talked about a website that inspired me, and there's plenty that do. Another thing that can be quite eye-opening, and this is where I discovered that my SEO investment was really pretty important, is I jumped on a site called SERP Robot. So I put a link to that site there. You can test your website in the Australian Google domain against some of the keywords that you're using or you think that people will be searching for your business. It's a really good site. It's free. Jump on there. That will tell you how you're ranking across your keywords. So if you think, okay, say you're an Adelaide Hills distiller or something like that, and they're the words that you will use, put them in to see where you're ranking. It will tell you where your website sits, but also importantly, it will tell you which of your competitors are sitting well in that space. And it will also tell you which of the maybe partner sites, whether that's a destination promotion agency or whether that's an online travel agent or something along those lines, it will tell you who's ranking well against those search terms. And that might be a really useful place to put your focus or your partnerships or your investment in. So SERP Robot, I find, is an excellent site. If you're motivated to do so, you get the time, have a look at that after this. Okay. So I think we've been going for close to 45 minutes. We're about just over halfway through, probably a little bit further on than that, guys. Next part I wanted to look at was business proposals and tenders. You may, well, I'm almost certain almost all of you have great businesses and a fantastic product, but have you got a compelling pitch when it comes to responding to inquiries or requests for quotes or requests for pricing and so forth? A good proposal does take a lot of time and planning, but the payoff is really worth it. So again, we talked about people who had great businesses but not great websites. Well, you may have people who have great businesses, great websites, but they're probably not putting the focus that they maybe could into their business proposal, which is a thing that sits on the desk of your customers. It's what they show their colleagues, their peers, their clients when deciding if they're going to use your business. So maybe just let's turn the tables for a minute. Can I ask a question? Hello, someone's there. Has someone got a question? No, just the microphone glitch, I think. What do you look for from your suppliers in one of their proposals? So if you've asked for if you've made some inquiries to some of your suppliers, or if you're thinking about a vacation yourself, or if you have a group to place, what do you look for in your supplier proposals? Would anyone like to share any points with me? What do you respond to in a quote? Okay. I'd like to just sort of present a few tips of what I respond to and what I've learned that my customers respond to when I'm putting together a proposal on the business. Number one is presentation really matters. It's your chance to make a visual statement. So it's probably it's well worth you thinking about professional tools to use for your business proposals. I'm sure there's not too many people that use Word at the moment, but I do still get proposals that have obviously been generated in Word and just converted to PDF. There's some really great tools out there. I use Canva personally. Some people use InDesign, and there are various other programs that once you sort of got yourself proficient, and again, I just taught myself, they're really quick to use, they're easy to use, but they look slick and professional. Number two with proposals is remembering that templates are a frame. They're a frame to the picture that goes inside. So yeah, by all means, you haven't got time to be redesigning a look and feel for a proposal every time. I don't, I have a template. But I also make sure that what I write within the template is different every time. It's got to be personalized. All right. People won't buy from robots. Goes to your responses on your guest comments as well and things like that. Don't use the same lines all the time. Don't cut and paste your content too freely because your customers will see that. Number three is we get you. It's showing your client that this proposal is all about them. I think that's important to do first up is, okay, summarize their requirements. So Stella, we understand that you're looking for X, Y, Z. You're motivated by this, and it. It shows that you've listened to exactly what they've asked for, and it shows that you care. And you're not just going to take them through a museum tour of your business. You're going to tailor it to exactly what they're looking for. And that leads into my next point is about tailoring. It's matching your products and your services to the client's requirement exactly. So don't assume an exact match with your range. You've got to tailor. Tell them at some point why choose you. I'm very big on this, and anyone that works with me knows that I am. It's okay, what are the top reasons, 5 great reasons for choosing your business, for selecting this destination and so forth? What's the payoff for using your services? Tip 6 is differentiate. Have a look at your competition. It's probably not that hard to get proposals from your competition or to look at how your competition sells themselves. How do you want to stand out? All right. How can you differentiate to be better than your competition? Number 7 is be succinct. All right. As with any content, less is more. It's a cliche, but it's true. This is a phrase I like. Unnecessary words waste the space of necessary words. So there's no point in having blocks of text out there because you think it should be there, or that, oh, I must describe every facility or service in my business. Have it there because it means something and be succinct. Number 8 is give options. What I do for a lot of my clients and I do in my proposals is not would you like to buy A, is which would you like, X, Y, or Z? It's just the alternative clause. So you're assuming they're going to buy something from you. It's giving them some options as to what they buy from you. That is a really effective tool in selling, and it's stood me by good stead over the years. Number 9, provide references. So for many of you, or for many of the decisions your customers make, they are going to seek an endorsement from trusted sources. We all know that everyone is all over TripAdvisor when, for example, when they come to choose a tour or a dining experience or a winery or something like that. But in your proposal, are you providing references from your customers without going overboard? Think about someone that may be relevant to them and put a testimonial from that person in there. I did a pitch for a hotel company yesterday, and we put some examples from clients that were very similar to them in the pitch. Lastly, number 10 is the close. It's really important at the end of your proposal to tell your client what is next. All right. Quite often, I'm amazed at how many proposals finish with just that, okay, here's our price, done. Or even if it's in person, yeah, okay, here's our product, over to you. You've now got to follow through and actually ask for the business. Okay, tell the clients what's next. Step 1, I'm going to call you next week to follow up. Step 2, let's have a meeting in person to get this group locked away with my business. step 3, all going well, you can start using our services. And I've just put a few extracts of the proposals that I used. I just thought I'd pull out the one that when Lauren from Tixer asked me to deliver this workshop, I put a proposal together for her. So in the background, I've talked about exactly what her project requirements were. I haven't put my fees and stuff in there, but the price is very tailored to what they're looking for. It's the next steps: step 1, step 2, step 3. What is next? And then I put my 3 USPs in terms of why I use the business on the back page of the proposal. I use InDesign. I use Canva for mine. Really easy. Some of you may use different software and so forth. Does any of you have any questions about business proposals or any insights that you'd like to share? Okay. Monique, you're doing well so far. Anyone that spoke up, so thank you.
I'm happy to share more, but I don't want to be the only one that's talking.
Go on, we don't mind.
So in regards to your business proposals, we have the that continuity, through our branding, through our Instagram, Facebook, and offering testimonials, and also really important that we capture the feeling as well. We're really sort of have generated, especially with COVID and everything, that people are looking for a space that's and how it feels. You can see in a photo, pictures tells 1,000 words, but when you look at an accommodation, you want to know how it feels and the scent and all of that. So we really focus on all of those, the whole feeling side of it. So yeah, we have obviously the call to action on our website, and also the linked on our Facebook and Instagram, so that it makes it easier for the consumer to do that. And yeah, just a differentiating between our competition and how we stand out is we're sort of moving into offering Streaky Bay experiences so that we can tailor packages to exactly what our clients want. So one-stop shop sort of thing to make the customers stay longer.
Yeah, fantastic. I love what you said about the feeling, Monique. My experience is a lot of us get sucked up into the functional needs as to why a customer wants to buy from us, but generally there's an emotional want behind everything they want to do. So it's less about their needs, it's more about what they want. I love the link to socials. Obviously that's clear, and differentiating from the competition, it's a big pond out there. So just making sure you're clearly differentiating is really important.
Yeah, we're relatively new business. Sage at Streaky Bay, somebody asked me what we were called. And you just got to be creative we've used our family and friends in a lot of our photography as well. I've built connections with local entrepreneurs as well, and upcoming photographers to do a lot of our marketing, and working with the local surf shop to dress the girls, and we did all that during COVID last year so that we could all sort of work together and complement each other, and then you're all exposed on each other's socials, and and I also do mapping with because Streaky Bay is a destination, if you're coming from Adelaide, it's 8 hours. So we offer a guide of where the great coffee shops along the way. So it's a whole experience from the minute you book. It's really important to have that engagement to show your guests that you're there for them, to build that relationship.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Monique. Thanks for sharing. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to add on business proposals?
Yeah, okay. Something just quickly. I guess I'm just looking at this and thinking it's not something I've really considered before, only because normally, because I just run walking tours in the city, I guess, you know, if I've got people coming up to me via email or phone saying, hey, I want a private walking tour, like I generally just kind of give them options, but very detailed, as you were mentioning, Martin, with like your options, your alternatives, like, you know, X, Y, and Z. But yeah, just kind of going through it like in detail via email, but not so much like a mock-up of anything like PDFs or whatever. But yeah, I guess it's different for every business depending on what it is you're running. But yeah, it's kind of opened my eyes, I'll say that much, because yeah, it's not something I'd really considered before in that sense, to be honest.
And look, it may not be as necessary to put as much detail into it, but what some of us might find, and your business, for example, once the let's just say once the conference market really opens up again, or once the international market comes back, as well as having these small groups that would just call you and book or approach you directly, there may be a lot more organizers of slightly larger groups that want you to put something, you know, a bit more bespoke together. And I guess that's where a proposal might, you know, come in handy. But yeah, I absolutely take your point. Some are going to be a lot more complex than others. Some people on this call are going to be writing 100-page proposals. Some people on this call are going to be writing 1-page proposals. Both are pretty good. Actually, probably harder to really sell yourself in the 1-page proposal than the 100-page one. So,
yeah, thanks for that. Much appreciated insight.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I'll keep moving. Part 4 is profile and reputation management. Obviously, none of us are fools. We know that our reputation is precious. You work so hard to build it. Now it's time, make sure you're protecting it and making it stronger. You know, this climate, more than ever before, customers are sharing the good and the bad. We also work in a business community that is quite close-knit, i.e., if you do something well, great, you're a hero. If you do something badly, that will tend to follow you around a lot longer in the Adelaide market or the South Australian market than it may in larger destinations. So obviously, reputation is absolutely precious. So I'm hoping that we get a bit of buy-in here, but what I would like you to do, and if I can get a volunteer, we'll just break for a minute or two. I'd like you to note down 3 reasons why you think reputation management is important. All right, so I'll give it a minute or two to jot that down. Maybe I can just get a couple of people after that who will volunteer. That would be fantastic. More than a couple would be great. So if you could jot down those 3 reasons, that'd be fantastic. And we'll give it a minute or two while we do that. I'll go and get myself another glass of water and I'll be back. Okay. Hopefully I've given you long enough. Anyone like to share 3 of their reasons why they think reputation management is important? Maybe one of the Tixer guys. You got anything to add, Tixer team? No volunteers?
I can go again, that's fine.
Thank you, Katina.
That's all right. Okay, so I guess the first one's the most obvious one. I guess, reputation management. It's all about getting that perception of public opinion as best as possible. Reviews equal bookings. It's just that idea of, good reviews equal good bookings. And if you can, I guess, just make sure that you're doing the best you can to have a great business, that kind of comes through in itself, if that makes sense. The second is basically just the trust of your guests by responding to reviews, by just responding to any inquiry within a reasonable time. Really, you kind of get that report. And then, particularly for business owners, it's I guess a thing of self-confidence when you have, when you are managing your reputation and you're getting those good reviews, it kind of ends up being a personal boost because you kind of know you're doing your job right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we forget it. Like you said, Katina, it's about reviews and it's about booking, but it's also, everyone needs feedback and everyone needs motivation. We look for it from our bosses, we look for it from our clients, but when we hear it from our customers, it can certainly give you a bit of a lift. Anyone else like to share?
Hi, Carly from Longview Vineyard. Happy to share.
Hi, Carly. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. I was going to say that word of mouth, I think, not only being important for customer engagement, but also for attracting staff and retaining staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good point. Really good point. Like I say, if customers are saying great things about a business, not only does it make others want to use the place, that's a great place to come and work. I'll enjoy somewhere where the customers interact with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
Hi,
Anyone else?
Monique.
Hi, Monique. Yeah.
Just on what the other girls just said, agree as well. And even with your own local businesses that are going to refer you as well. So if you've got built up a really good relationship with them, they're going to definitely recommend and refer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Comes back to what we said before as well in the SEO section, referrals, partnerships. That's what we rely on in this business. Thank you. That's great, guys. Well, I jotted some down the other day when I was preparing this, so I just thought I'd share mine. I think some of them have actually been covered, so great minds think alike. Essentially, my 3 reasons for reputation management is trust and credibility equals higher revenue. We're in this business to make money. Obviously, some of us do it because we love it. We all do it because we love it, but we're here to make money, and your credibility will help you with that. A professional image elevates you and your business. And anyone who's got team members out there, I would really encourage you, if you've got the right people in place, and Carly just mentioned about attracting staff, if you have the right people, give them the freedom to elevate their reputation, their profiles, because at the end of the day, customers buy people. So you're not only cultivating the image of your business, you're cultivating your own image as part of that. And clearly, if you've got a high level of guest feedback or guest satisfaction, it gives you a really strong search ranking. If people are saying nice things about you, if your rep profile is out there, it does really pick up your SEO. All right. Again, and this is the last exercise, guys. So, like I say, I tried to break up from me talking all the time. Wouldn't mind if someone could note down just a few steps that you take as a business. Doesn't have to be 6. I've noted 6 examples after, but if you could just note down some steps that you are currently taking to maintain a strong reputation. So what are you doing as part of your reputation management? Are you doing something in particular when you follow up your guests to drive reviews or so forth? So I'll just give a couple of minutes to jot a few things down. Like I say, no huge pressure, guys. Don't worry. If you're not saying anything, it doesn't matter, but it'd be really great if anyone was willing to share some of those. Okay. Anyone like to press on? Just give some examples of what the steps that they're following in their business to maintain a strong reputation. No takers?
I'm happy to talk again.
Thanks, Carly.
So we have weddings and functions here. We also have accommodation. We have a cellar door. So when our accommodation guests check out, they don't need to check out in person, but we do encourage them all to check out in person via our cellar door. And we ask them in person how they enjoyed their stay, whether there's anything they could recommend to us. So with our wedding couples, we send out an email, but with the accommodation guests, we've got them there in front of us. So we always ask them at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they say it's the first moment and the last moment that really stick in people's minds, Carly. So a lot of us do forget to ask. Something I used to say when I was managing the Mayfair is to say, guys, as we go through, don't be obsessive about it, but tactfully say, look, if you've had a great experience, we'd love you to share that. Why would we love you to share that? Be honest that it's great for your business, but also it's useful for other people in their shoes that may be thinking about an experience at Longview, like you say. So asking that question at the end is so important. Thanks for that, Carly.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, it's Monique again. I'm happy to share.
Thank you.
I think for us, effective communication is really important, and the continuity of that, so that you've built that relationship with your guests as soon as they've booked. Just little extras as well, offering them a late checkout if it's available. We offer catering, so platters on arrival, and we execute that too, like through our social media, of showing guests what to expect, like if there's a lasagna waiting in the fridge, what that will look like. And that's getting back to, creating the whole feeling, and so that reputations carry through all of our socials. We use TouchStay welcome books, and I find that it's all there. You've got everything, and you can add it, change it as needed. Obviously, it's COVID, clean and safe. And then you've got all your call to actions there, so links to your websites, to your socials, and to your reviews and everything. And then if people can be seeing that other people are leaving reviews, then they're more than happy usually to leave a good review as well. Especially that communication. I think if you're really onto the communication with your guests, if anything arises that that's not quite right, then you can make it better for everyone on both ends.
Yeah, that's actually the last point's a really good one, Monique, because like you say, if people are leaving reviews, it motivates others, just the same as, and I get it, I'm probably the last one to ask questions in sessions like this, but once you started talking this morning, it did motivate others to sort of come on board. And it's a similar concept with the feedback. TouchStay is not a system I know, but yeah, you're right. A lot of us pay this money for these really great systems. You just make sure we're using them to their optimum. And social media is a fantastic way to stimulate reviews and feedback. Now, I've just received a text from Stella. Thank you, Stella, or somebody at Tixer, who's informed me about the chat function on Zoom. I'm not the world's best proponent of Zoom, but apparently there's some questions on chat, so I might just pull that up. There you go. Shay, Martin, I have a question. Not sure how to make my video thing work. Okay. Bit confused by the proposal thing, and how do I get my proposal to them? Is this my reply to the email or message? Yes, it is the reply to an email, or if that person has called you, Shay, it may be that your business is quite straightforward and you don't want to have a long proposal, but that's your opportunity in your email to respond with, against some of those principles I've talked about. Or if you've got a very simple quote, if someone's called you or email, that's what you go back with as to why they should use your business. So yeah, I can't see in the chat what your business is, but I'm certainly more than happy to have a chat offline if you've got some specific questions and I could talk you through that. But yeah, it is, you know, if it's on Facebook, you just talk about a Facebook sponsored ad. If someone makes an inquiry over Facebook, you can point them, you can point them back to you know, your message board or your inbox to get a bit of a private chat going, where you can get their contact details, and maybe you say, is it okay if I call you, just to understand a little bit more about what you're looking for. Hopefully that's helped, Shay, but please reach out to me directly, and my contact details are on the presentation if I can help in any way further as well. Okay.
Something else, Martin.
We're nearly there, guys. I did say that this would be sorry.
Oh, sorry, it's Monique again, just something else.
Oh, hi. Yeah.
Just like a lot of people, you know, email, text message, all of that. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, you know, as well. Just to have, people love to hear voice, especially during these times. So we often just check in a couple of days or a few days before, and people are a bit surprised, you know, to hear a voice on the end of the phone as well. Just if they've got any questions, it's a lot easier than texting back and forwards and emails, and you're putting a person to your brand as well. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. A lot of the time we do hide behind email, but people really often appreciate it. If an inquiry comes in, and look, we're all busy as well. So to Monique's point, look, I was flat out yesterday and I had an inquiry come through about a writing job. If I'd waited to respond to her by email, it may not have been a great service by the client. So I called her straight away and just had a chat about it, noted a few things down. What that also gives you the opportunity to do is, if you're under the pump as a business and you're not going to be able to get a quote out today or the next day, it's just saying, okay, Monique, thank you for your inquiry. Just tell me exactly when do you need this information by, and they might say, okay, next week's fine, Martin, or in 2 weeks or whatever. Okay, just so I manage your expectations, I'll have something to you by Monday or by Tuesday. Is that okay? And then you get their confirmation. A, you've had a chat with them, exactly like Monique just said, but B, you've also bought yourself a bit of breathing space as to when your quote could get back out to them. Thanks for that, Monique. Okay, we'll move on. I've listed some 6 examples from mine as to how I do that. One's obvious, is deliver great experiences and services. The better you are at the product, the more you're going to drive your reputation. Make it easy, and this goes back to Carly's point to a degree before, make it easy for customers to leave reviews, whether that be direct or indirect. Use your communication platforms. Monique just talked about TouchStay. You know, we used to use Revenate in the hotel. Every time someone stayed with us, as soon as they've left, they were sent a communication thanking them for staying, talking about a future stay, but directing them to the TripAdvisor platform. It doesn't have to be your own as well. You can direct them to some of these online mediums, because remember, often it's the amount of reviews that you get ahead of the quality of reviews that will drive your rankings and your scores. Set yourself up with alerts. Set Google alerts up. Have Review Pro. I'll come to Review Pro in a minute. That's one of the tools. We use Revenate in some of the businesses that we work with to tell you when you've got a review, or to tell you when you've got some sentiment, or to tell you when there's been an article or a comment about your business. Helps you respond in real time and to address that quite quickly. Number 3 is respond to every review. Be honest, be genuine, and be personalized. And I'll come back to what I said before about business proposals. Templates just don't work. I was having a look at a business the other day, a very good one, and they were responding to every single TripAdvisor review, but I could see the person that was responding, she was using the same phrase or sentence in every single one. So that's telling the customer, okay, have you really put the thought into responding to what they're looking for? So don't use a template if you are. Really try and vary your responses. I know that can be quite onerous. A good way to do it is just to spread the responsibility of those responses across your business. Or if you're a sole trader or a single business like me, maybe choose the platforms that you get most reviews from and most reliable, and make sure you focus on those first. Number 4, give back, support your customers and your community. Small gestures can make a really big difference to your reputation. All right. And we all have opportunities to do that. So giving back, doing something that isn't necessarily about a business opportunity, really does drive our reputation forward. And then lastly, something I do quite a lot with the different businesses I've worked in over the years is involve and engage your customers in decisions about the business. What would they like to see? You know, if you're a tour operator and you're thinking of branching out into a whole new range of experiences, or if you're a venue and you want to come up with a new package, maybe pull some of your customers together and invite them for a drink, sit down around the table and ask them what they would like to see as a customer. You then follow through with that, and it buys you a huge amount of credibility, and it shows you're a customer-centric organization. All right. It's almost the last slide. So this goes without saying, and again, excuse me if I'm preaching that, I'm not, but make customer sentiment a business KPI. So some of you will have your revenue, some of you may have your occupancy, your covers, your RevPAR, all these different things as KPIs. Have guest satisfaction and have customer sentiment right up there. So if you're presenting to your team or your bank or whatever it may be as part of your business plan, show them that a core pillar of that is what your customers think. You may have noticed that TIXA, if any of you entered the Tourism Awards this year, I think this year or last, they introduced that customer satisfaction was a component of the score. So instead of just having a good written proposal and a good summary of your business, it really matters what your customers think about you. And I know that all of the businesses that I've been involved with, that's now a key metric, your guest satisfaction. And there are great tools out there to do that. Review Pro is one, and I do know that TIXA, you know, have a relationship with Review Pro and can offer its members the ability to set those dashboards up. What that does is it pulls reviews about your business from over 200 different mediums, and it gives you a combined score. So you may choose that you've got 4 competitors, and that will benchmark you against your 4 competitors in terms of what people in the market are saying about you and how they're scoring. Review Pro is excellent. There are others, like I say, one of the businesses I work with uses Revenate, really important. And they pull from all these areas, like the examples I put on the screen, like the booking.coms, like Facebook, Google, Expedia, TripAdvisor, Twitter. Google is probably getting up there as one of the most important, and it's probably the most neglected in terms of how people drive reviews to Google and how they respond on there. Everyone seems to move to TripAdvisor. Google is growing in prominence. So there's one I would suggest if you're not responding to reviews on there or driving reviews, Google is pretty important. Okay. So we finish up with a couple of nice photos of some tours. I think that's the Alpha Box and Dice, the McLaren Vale, and then the beautiful Riverland. So that's it from me, guys. Like I said before, the presentation will come out. I hope it's of use. More than happy to take questions offline. If anyone would like to give me a buzz, if anyone thinks that maybe I can help them in any way, that would be great too. But yeah, we'll anchor it there. If anyone has any final questions, please feel free to come forward. If not, I think we're just about ready to wrap up.
Thank you. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. You've been really generous with your time and expertise today. I think a lot of people would have found a lot of great information and value in the session. So just to quickly wrap up, shortly after this session's concluded, we'll send an email to all that have registered. Like I said earlier, that will feature a link to a recording of the session, as well as the PowerPoint presentation slides from Martin as a continued resource. Thank you once again to our trainer, Martin Radcliffe, and to all that have joined us for today's workshop. I hope everyone has a great day and enjoy the sunshine. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.